YouTube family. Okay, no, it's not a extended stay gourmet video. Um, I'm actually going to be making some beefaroni tonight for dinner. I just got off work from the shop. I'm going to be marinating that chicken for Sunday. But I have some leftover. This is that chicken noodle soup. Still pretty good. I got some leftover macaroni and cheese and some ground beef. Half pound of ground beef. I'll make some beefaroni tonight for dinner. I think I'm gonna have the last of that chicken noodle soup. There's still chicken in there for lunch tomorrow. But this video tonight is what I would consider a recap video of chapter 1 through 9 of the Blue Bucket Chronicles. And what I have out here is some chicken thighs and cabbage. Here's the thing, you all. We're gonna be leaving to go to Atlantic City on Friday night. We're going to be there all day Saturday, and we're going to get back Sunday morning. Here's the game plan. I want brunch, I want restaurant style brunch when we get back on Sunday. Okay, so the menu for Sunday, when we come back from Atlantic City, is going to be slow roasted leg quarters, cabbage. I'm going to make a pot roast with some stuffing and sweet potatoes, maybe a sweet potato mash. And then for dessert, we're going to have peach cobbler for dessert. So if you all can get the image, when we come back from Atlantic City, we're going to be in Atlantic City on Saturday. We're leaving late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, getting back. Okay, we should be back in our room Sunday afternoon, probably around 12. Okay, I'm going to be saving my appetite because, see, here's the thing. All of the food is going to be prepared. The roasted chicken, the pot roast, the cabbage. Did I say mac and cheese? Yeah, mac and cheese, stuffing, all of that is going to be prepared and in the refrigerator when we come back. Okay, so all we got to do is heat and eat and sleep. Y'all feel what's going on. Y'all feel what I'm putting down for this weekend. Why? Just because we can do it. Okay? Sanaya's taking a bath, but she concurs with what I just said. Yeah. Why? Just because we can. All right. We live in our best life right now. We are living our best life. So, but let me get to the main point of this video, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab the blue bucket, buddy. The blue bucket, and I'm gonna try to get this video done before it gets too dark. A few of these Blue Bucket Chronicles videos is basically dark outside by the time I get out and do the video. But I got a little bit of daylight. And the purpose of this video is to kind of, catch people up. If you haven't been following the Blue Bucket Chronicles, the story of how me and SAYNIA became a couple, well, this is an opportunity to recap chapter 1 through 9 and maybe even fill in some of the blanks, because I see where people have come to their own conclusion on things, and I'm going to take the opportunity to maybe explain some things. Not necessarily that I need to explain myself, because I don't, but
good.
I like to
Pick it up.
I like to make things clear. Good evening, everybody. I got it, ma'am. I like to make sure, as best as possible, that I make myself clear. You feel what I'm saying? Let's see if I can find me a nice spot. Okay. This story began in 2019. Those of you all who have been following, you all know that. The story begins in 2019 when I was living in a rooming house on the campus of Hampton University. Okay? So let's make this clear. Let's make this clear. I wasn't homeless. Okay, I wasn't homeless. I lived in a rooming house on the campus of Hampton University. Now, some people might say, okay, it wasn't an apartment, it wasn't a house. What's the difference, I know some of y'all that are talking like that. But here's the thing, when I get comments like that in the comments section, the thing that I look at is I was a single man. All of my children are grown. Okay? So the rooming house was fine for me. Living in a rooming house was fine for me. And what made it even better is I was able to operate a business enterprise in the rooming house. I was renting 2 rooms in the rooming house, okay? So let's make that clear, okay? At the time, I was in pretty much a non-committed relationship with someone that I call Lashonda, okay? We had a long-term friendship that kind of turned into a relationship. Basically, if you want to say friends with benefits type of relationship, okay? She did not live here in Hampton. She lived in Fredericksburg. Some of you all who follow my channel, you know that I told you about, someone I had a friendship with that lived in Fredericksburg. We're talking about Lashonda, okay? The thing with my relationship with Lashonda is, number one, she was a pleasantly plump woman, a very pleasantly plump woman. I mean, it is what it is. I have a type, and she fit that type, okay? The thing is, her weight became somewhat of a hindrance in our relationship developing into what I wanted for my life. From the standpoint, I was doing my best to build a life of travel and leisure. In a lot of ways, what I'm starting to live right now. Okay, so we're talking 6 years ago. The manifestation of what I was trying to develop my life into, I'm kind of starting to live that now. Okay, it is what it is, y'all. Okay. The other thing with Lashonda and why I kind of ended that relationship is she was a compulsive liar. She was a compulsive liar. She was good people. Don't get me wrong. She was good people. I loved her. I did. I loved her. But there were things about her personality that I really couldn't continue to live with. Okay, so I ended that relationship with Lashonda. But in ending that relationship, it put me in a position where, hey, I was lonely and, I was still living. We got wind gusts. I hope you can hear me. We were still living. I was still living the life I wanted to live, traveling to Vegas, traveling to Atlantic City. I was by myself, and I didn't particularly care for that. It just so happened that I traveled to Las Vegas for my 50th birthday to see the Grand Canyon. And I went by myself. And I really didn't like that feeling. I felt like I was living my best life, doing what I've always wanted to do. But it kind of felt empty when I didn't have anybody to share it with. Okay? So I kind of set out to find a female companion. That's what led me to meeting, and here's the thing, I say meeting, but I met Sharon. But the thing is, it wasn't my first time meeting Sharon. Back in 2005, 6, 7, when I owned my own hair salon, okay, back in 2005, 6, and 7, I owned my own hair salon. It closed in 2008 due to the recession. You all remember the recession of 07, 08, and even part of 09. The American economy was in a recession. Okay, but I used to do Sharon's hair way back then. Okay, but when I closed my salon, we lost touch with each other, and we did not reconnect until 2019. Okay, so you all got that. So I was not necessarily a stranger to Sharon. I wasn't a stranger. But, we met up at the grocery store that was near Hampton University, and I became her oil man. I sell fragrance oil, so I became her oil man. Okay, you got me? And she used to always say, sell me some oil that's going to help me get a man. Well, at that point, I was a man looking for a woman, and with a little bit of investigation, I began to pursue a relationship with Sharon. Okay? And not just a casual relationship. I wasn't looking for a casual relationship. I was looking for wife material. And with my initial investigation on her character, what she was about, what was her goals, I decided, okay, this might work. Okay, so we began to develop a relationship, and right off the bat, I let her know, look, I'm looking for a wife. I'm looking for a long-term relationship. Okay? I think that kind of scared and intimidated her. Just in hindsight. Wind gust, y'all, wind gust. Just in hindsight, I think that kind of intimidated her. You know? I don't think very many women in today's society, in today's culture, run across men that are looking for a wife and out, deliberately saying, hey, look, I'm looking for a wife. Because I think a lot of women are saying, hey, all the good men are gone. All the good men are, Now here's the thing. Once again, there would be women that would judge me from the standpoint, okay, he's living in a rooming house, he doesn't own a car, so I might not fall. I probably didn't fall under the good man category, okay? Just once again, I'm just smoothing things out based on what I've gotten from this series, this Blue Bucket Chronicles series in the comments section. But it is what it is, y'all. It is what it is. And like I said before, I am not what I own or don't own. Number one, first and foremost, I am a child of God. Okay? And you can't judge who I am based on what I have and what I don't have. That's where a lot of women mess up. But I digress on that point. Let me keep going. Okay? The thing was, this was 2019. And this is why I say when Kobe Bryant died, it marked a change in the world, because it is my belief that when Kobe Bryant died, it created a period of distraction. It created a period of distraction where people were focused on this, this superstar, this athlete dying in a helicopter crash with his daughter. And the thing is, by the time we all finished wiping our eyes, wiping the tears out of our eyes, we turned around and there was a virus, a deadly virus across the world. Okay? So that's why I say Kobe Bryant's death marked a change in the world. And however you look at it, the world has not been the same since the pandemic. The world has not been the same since COVID and the year 2020. Now, what that did was bring on what they called the stay-at-home order. Everybody was pretty much under quarantine. Okay? So everybody was ordered to stay at home. Okay, I was in a relationship with a woman, a single mother, who had a house. Okay, a pretty nice house at that. And instead of me living in my home, which was a rooming house on the college campus of Hampton University, which was empty. It was an empty college campus. I don't think that was the best thing for me. And like I said before, Sharon agreed. Therefore, for all intents and purposes, I moved in with Sharon and her daughter. Okay, wind gust, y'all. For all intents and purposes, Sharon's home became my home for the stay-at-home order. But the thing is, I lost my source of income because I lived and worked on the campus of Hampton University, and the campus was closed down. Okay, so like I said, I lost my home and my source of income. Okay, so that's what happened. But I set out to try to use everything I had to create a source of income so I can contribute to the household. You know, I wasn't going to be no, bum living with a woman and her child and not contributing. So I used all my resources of, I still was able to cut hair. So I would go back to my rooming house and my little barber shop that I had set up, and I would still cut hair for clients that were still in the area. I had a fragrance oil business. I had an eBay business. I was using all of my resources to contribute to Sharon's household. Okay? The thing is, I wasn't paying my room rent in the rooming house. And I felt like, and the thing is, there was a court order that came out that said that, people couldn't be evicted during the pandemic. That there was a court order that came out, but my landlord, he said, hey, look here, you haven't paid your rent in a few months. I'm going to have to take you to court. And if you don't pay your rent, I'm going to have to evict you. And I was feeling like, hey, you see the situation I'm in. And his response was, you need to take care of where you live first and foremost. He was right. The thing was, when I went to Sharon to let her know what my landlord said, her response was, that's your personal problem. Okay, now, that was a shock to me. And in the comments section, a lot of you all have viewed Sharon as cold-hearted. Okay? You all have viewed Sharon as cold-hearted for telling me, hey, that's your problem. But I don't think it was necessarily as cold-hearted as it might seem. Okay? And I'm going to get into that in chapter 10 of the Blue Bucket Chronicles. So, thank you all for watching what I call a recap of chapter 1 through 9. So stay tuned for chapter 10 coming up this week. I did this video as a recap, but I also did a couple of addendum videos about chapter 10 where I'm explaining some things and I wanted to show in a video. So you all will see those this week. All right, so thank you all for watching these videos. Thank you for supporting the Blue Bucket Chronicles. Once again, it's a long way to get to SAYNIA coming into the picture. So just ride with me on this story. Have a great evening. Be blessed and be a blessing.